So like we said earlier on, that when we have biodiversity, we can extract a variety of resources from the ecosystem. And I mentioned, for example, getting medicines, food, firewood, and a number of things from the forest reserve, for example. But if you're going to look at the ecosystem as a whole, biodiversity is very important because, one, the more you have high species richness, that means that the more you're going to have increased biomass and resources. And remember, if you have high biomass, you're having high energy. If you remember the concept to do with the energy transfer. Okay, that's one. Two is that if you, for example, you have a forest, which is a climax community, a well-established ecosystem, disrupting that ecosystem may require a lot of effort. So things like a drought that has happened for a short time may not disrupt that ecosystem because that ecosystem is resistant to disturbance. It can withstand such such environmental or climatic changes. Okay, and then also if you have invasive species, invasive species, these are species that have not been in a particular ecosystem but are finding their way into that ecosystem, and usually they can actually overtake the species, the indigenous species or the native species that were already there in that. So if you have well-established ecosystems, climax communities, you can't easily have invasion by this invasive species. So the resilience is also related to the fact that these ecosystems that are climax are resistant to disturbances, and if these disturbances happen, they can easily recover. And then the second major importance in terms of categories, major importance of biodiversity is something to do with what we call ecosystem services. You will have a number of organisms in an ecosystem playing very important roles. The lichens play important roles in, for example, soil formation and conservation and formation of soil. Again, the plants also play important roles in soil formation and conservation because it is the plants that will break, that also contribute together with microorganisms that contribute to weathering and contributing to soil formation. Okay, and then you have the decomposers contributing to recycling of nutrients, the dead decaying matter contributing to organic matter that we find in the soil, also still contributing to soil fertility, soil formation, but again to water retention and also improving on aeration. And then you also have forests or trees contributing to rainfall and in a long run also contributing to climate moderation. But we also have trees that are very good at absorbing water and also preventing floods, and also swamps preventing floods, by the way, because they're water catchment areas. And then trees producing oxygen, or plants basically producing oxygen that is used by plants, by animals for respiration. So all those are functions that we can broadly categorize as ecological ecosystem services, or sometimes ecological services. Okay. Again, biodiversity is very important. If you maintain your forests, if you maintain your water bodies, they actually contribute to well-being of human beings. Being seated somewhere and you're watching nature actually helps in your mental health. And again, if you have trees around your home, you are going to get quality clean air that you're going to be breathing in because it is coming from the trees. You're not taking in dirty polluted air. Okay, again, um, these plants, swamps, forests contribute to also having this clean water and nutritious foods that you can get. So the point is that ecosystems are actually, biodiversity is very important. If you have well-established ecosystems, that's good. Okay, so destroying them, for example, sugarcane project can actually result into loss of one, species diversity, genetic diversity, and ecosystem diversity, and I've explained each of those. And then we have also explained that ecosystems are very important for humans, uh, for proper health, uh, and physical or mental health, but also humans get food, medicines from these ecosystems. Ecosystems play an important role uh, in what we generally termed as ecosystem services, including nutrient recycling, soil formation, improving water retention, and things like that. And then part three, which is what happens when you have a forest that is being cleared. You lose the three levels of biodiversity that we are talking about. The habitats of these organisms that are staying in this forest will be cleared. So some of these will have to migrate, some of them will have to die. Okay, so different ecosystems will be destroyed. Different species will be destroyed. And as a result, you actually have reduced genetic diversity. Okay, so that is the impact there. And then what could you recommend? So one, another area can be obtained for this sugarcane farming project, not necessarily within the reserve, okay? Because the reserve actually contributes to rain formation, or the local affects the weather conditions of the nearby community. So if another part that is near to this reserve is obtained, it can actually be used. The second thing is it is also possible for the council to look for alternative sources of income. For example, developing initiatives that are to do with ecotourism, making sure that people come to these reserves and pay some money, and this can create jobs and things like that. But also a thorough environmental impact analysis is to be done. The study to investigate the likely consequences of this project. This study has to be conducted, and that study is what we are calling environmental impact.